Hello guys. So in the previous video I have shown you the demo of the URL shortener app. So in this video I will be explaining how exactly I made it. So now let's understand before understanding the code, let's understand its working properly. For suppose we have visited amazon.in and we want or if you want to share this particular product, if you see the link is very big, right? Some links can be very long. So instead of sharing those long URLs, what we do is we create a short URL and we share that short URL. Now, how exactly we do that? Let's understand that. So this is our app. We will enter the long URL into the this input box and we will click. After that, what we do is, now the main idea is that for the long URL, we will generate a short ID using the short ID module. We will generate a very short ID for a very long URL. And what we do is, after generating this short URL, we will store the long URL and short URL in our MongoDB, right? We will store this, and what we will do is, now this is the code snippet from the our URL shortener app. So what we are doing is, so here the logic is like this. We will give back the host name slash the short URL. So for this very long URL, what we give back in return is our host name, which is http dot localhost colon 3000 slash this short URL. That is the URL which we will give back to the user. And when the user clicks that short URL, basically here it should be short ID. I just written short URL, no problem. So when we give back the short URL to the user and when the user clicks on the short URL, the user should be redirected to the wrong URL. Now this is the code snippet. So we will take the short ID from the short URL, right? Here, if you see this particular route slash banu slash code, this code is this short URL in the short URL which we give back to the user, and we take this particular short ID and we will search in our database. So this is the code for searching it on our database, and if we were able to find it, now we retrieve the long URL from the database using the dot long URL property, because we are storing it as an object, JSON object. Actually it is saved as a bson, I am saying JSON. So we are retrieving the long URL. So and we are redirecting to the long URL. That's it. This is how exactly this URL shortener app looks. Now this is the URL I am saying about. This is the URL which we will give back to the user, and this is the code. If you could see that here, this is the code which we will retrieve and we will find the long URL for this particular code. Now this is the short URL. So whenever a user clicks on the short URL, they have to be redirected to the long URL like this, right? Okay, now let's go to the code and understand. So now I am in the folder, exact folder where I have created my project. I am opening the Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's understand it properly. So what we do is to create a folder and open that folder in the Visual Studio Code, and you, in the terminal you type npm init underscore y, so that we will initialize the project. So I have already done that. So after that, what you do is, so these are our dependencies. These are all the dependencies. So you have to install all these dependencies. You need to type body parser config EJS express mongoose short id valid URL. I think I did not use this valid URL. So no need to install this valid URL. So go to the terminal and type npm I, which is shortcut for install, and type all these modules: express, mongoose, EJS, body parser, and all those, and just install all those. I have already installed. If you don't want to install all these, I have uploaded this particular project in the GitHub. You can just clone it to your local folder, clone it as a local folder, and just type npm install. That's it. You need not to type anything. Just type npm install from the folder where you have downloaded that. All the dependencies will be installed from the package.json, right? And let's go back to our code. Now before going to the code, let me explain the project structure. So this models. So here we are using the MVC, which is model, view, and controller structure. So this model is, we have created a folder called as models, which is used for handling the data with the database. Okay, and this public folder is created in order to keep all the public files. That means the files which can be accessed without the authentication, which can be accessed by everyone. We have to keep all these files. We can keep the JavaScript files and CSS files in the public folder. Now this particular folder routes, here it is created for handling all the routes, right? We instead of creating all the routes in this app.js, which makes our app.js very lengthy, we have created a folder called as routes, and in that we have used this url.js in order to handle all those routes, redirecting routes and everything. Those all routes we have used over here, and views, and this is where we kept our index.ejs, which is the home page, which is that URL where we can enter and click. And after that, these are the views. We will understand when we will actually see those. So this is the project structure. Okay, let's understand it from our main app. Now here we need to import the Express. So we have imported the Express and Mongoose and the body parser. This body parser is required in order to parse the request, parse the post request, actually the post request, and attach it to the request body. And this particular thing we will understand when we go to this url.js. We just exported that url.js. When we go into this url.js, we will understand what is this. And we have created our Express app by saying const app is equal to express. We have created our app, and this use, we will use this use in order to run the middleware function. We are saying that to the Express, we are saying to the Express that all the static files are inside this folder. We are saying to the Express, we are informing to the Express that all the static files are stored inside this public folder, serving the static files you could see over here. And this piece of middleware has to be written because look, the request which we will get from the client side, the post request, actually we need to parse it and attach it to the request body. so that we can use actual values. So this particular module makes that very easy, and it parses it and it attaches to the request body. So the app.use body parser.url encoded, and we can set this extended to be true. So this is a middleware which passes through the request body and attach it to the request object, so that we can use the request.body. So that we can use this request.body, and inside that we are having so many properties that will be coming from the client side. So client side post, when there is a post request, we can access those information using this request.body by setting this piece of middleware. What is this middleware? This middleware runs irrespective of which particular route has been entered in the browser. So any particular route has entered in the browser, this particular middleware will be executed. And if you want only to run this particular middleware when there is a specific route, you can specify that route over here. You can specify that say a test. So this is like only when there is a particular route like slash test in the browser, only then this particular middleware will be fired. We don't want that. So let's go back. And we set the view engine to be EJS, which is embedded JavaScript. And there are many templating engines. So we have used this EJS. This is very simple to use. That's why I used. And this particular middleware app.use. So whatever we have exported from the url.js, we required over here. That means imported over here and use this inside this app.use. That means these three middleware will be running irrespective of which particular route. Slash home route, any route, this particular middleware will run. This is for setting the view engine. And this is where app.listen. So we have to listen at some port in order to receive the request, right? So using the app.listen, we are setting it to be 3000. So we can set it to 3000, or we can set it to any available port. If you are deploying, we can set it to any available port. We just console logging server started at that particular port, right? Now this is all about the app.js. Now let's go to the url.js. This is the main part of our application which handles all the particular routes, right? So in this url.js, now in this url.js, this is the application which I have deployed to the Heroku. So in between, I may find the exact code for the deployment. I will explain it in the local system also, what we can do in order to run in the local or in the locals server, that is a local host. I will tell the changes also, but actually I made changes for the deployment. So let's understand this. Const express, we required the express. Now express gives us this router. Now basically what we're doing is, in our app.js, we can use the app dot get app dot post app dot put patch everything. But as our application grows, there will be many routes. We can't specify all those routes in our app.js. We have all those routes should be handled by another, or we have to write in another file. So using this router, we will create this. Using this router function, we will create this router object, and using this router object, we will specify all this method get, post, or any delete, those type of HTTP verbs, and so that all the routes will be handled in separate or by the separate file, all the routes. And app.js only tells the main things, and our url.js, which is the responsible for handling the routes. Here we can write all the code related to the routes. And after that, this particular thing is coming from this models. So I will explain when we'll go back to this models. And this is a short id. So this short id is required when we want to generate short ids for the long urls. Okay, before understanding these particular routes, let's go to this data handler.js inside the models folder. Now this is the file which is responsible for handling the database, or it connects to the database. Const mongoose, we are requiring the mongoose. This mongoose is very useful, which helps us connect with the MongoDB in more abstract way. We did not to go to the basic details. By using the functions and methods given by the mongoose, we can simply connect with the database MongoDB. So using this connect, mongoose.connect, here we need to specify the path where the MongoDB is listening to. This is the path for the cloud one. So if you are using the local one, this is the code. So you need to specify mongoose connect MongoDB localhost. This is a port local. This is a port at which it is running in the local machine. This is the name of the database, and pass these values so that you don't get any deprecation warnings. So if you are using the local machine, you need to use this particular. And if you are using any cloud-based MongoDB, you can specify the path given by your cloud provider. This is given by the MongoDB Atlas. Since I have deployed this application, that's why you could see this connection. So after connecting to the MongoDB database, you need to specify the schema. Now this schema is like the data structure for our data storage. Now schema specifies how our data to be stored. So using this mongoose.schema method, we can specify these the type, the look. This is the property, or you could say these are the properties: long URL, short URL. Those are all the properties inside your document, right? You could have so many documents. Inside each document you are having these properties, right? Or you could say the fields. These are like the fields inside your document. You're saying I am having a field called long URL, and its type should be string, and it has to be required. That means its value has to be there. It can't be ignored. And we are saying that there is a short URL field and its type is also string, and it should be required. That means it is also required. We cannot ignore it. And after saying that, we have created this URL schema, right? We created a data structure for storing our data using this mongoose.model. Here we need to specify the collection name. Collection name is singular. Collection is like a table. Here this is seeing the documents or data structure for the document. Here is specifying using the schema. Now here we are creating the collection which is similar to the table in the SQL. Here we need to specify the singular name for the collection, short URL, and Mongoose converts it into plural very intelligently into plural name. So short URL, and we need to attach this particular data type to this particular collection, and we will export this so that we could use this particular module in other files, right? This is all about the data handler. Make sure that the connection is successful, because if connection is not successful, we won't be able to save the data into our database. This is for the local and this is for the cloud based. You have to create a account in the cloud before using this one. And let's go to this particular. Okay, now this particular we are saying router dot get. So whenever user goes to the home page, we're just rendering the index page and console logging some type of information. Right, we're just sending back the index which is inside the views. Right, this is something we are sending back to the user. Now this is not any HTML tutorial, so that I can explain. You can easily read this or you can understand. I will explain. I'll explain, but not now. Let's go back to this url.h. So we return back this index.js, and let's understand this particular route. So whenever user goes to this particular, or basically whenever user posts, that means whenever user clicks on the click button, this particular route. So here we has to handle that. It is receiving the request and the response, and this is a post route, right? So since it is a post route, we have used the body parser, right? We have used the body parser. So to this request, all the data will be, or the body parser parses and it attaches the body to this, so we can access all the those values using this request dot body. And we have used the object destructuring, right? This is from the ES6. We have used the object destructuring. So we will get this particular URL, which is the URL which we will enter in the text box. If you don't understand this object destructuring, what you could do is, you could, instead of saying like that, const URL equal to request dot body dot whatever name you have given to that input box. It could be anything. You could have given URL, right? Here, this particular, I think this is the input. The name is URL, right? You could specify like this. If you don't understand the object destructuring, if you understand the object destructuring, no problem. And after that, we are just console logging the URL, and this console logs are just for me in order to confirm. Like, have written all these console logs in order to check where it is going wrong, because I did not get this application working at the first time. I have checked a lot many times. I was getting errors, so this all logs are only for testing purpose. I have used during the testing purpose. So what we got is the URL from the browser. So it is stored in this URL variable, right? Using this request.body and using the object destructuring, we got the long URL. So before saving the long URL, you need to understand that if the long URL has entered, or if someone entered the same long URL before into our application, it will be stored in the database. So instead of storing it again to the database, what we can do is we can check from the database if it is present or not. If it is present, we need not to store it. We can just give back the short URL generated, right? We need not to store it again because it consumes a space. We are wasting the space by storing it again. So instead of saving it again, we can find it and return back. If it is not present, we can save it, right? So that is what we have done over here. So this short URL, this is what we have exported. We said model dot exports this mongoose model, right? So this gives back us whatever we have exported. Here we have exported a collection, right? Here we have exported a collection. That is what we have named it. You can name anything, short URL, short URI, anything. I have just named short URL in camel casing. That is the collection. That is like your table in SQL. Here it is the collection. Not find one. This is the method which can be apply on the collection. Dot find one. What it expects is the filter. Now this is a filter. Like what we want to find. This long URL is a field inside the document. That particular long URL is this one. Like we are saying, we want to get back the document or we want to retrieve that particular document. Only the first one means if there are 10 entries, or you could say 10 documents, only the first result will be written back. If there is any other result, it won't be written back, and there won't be any result because the way the way in which we are storing only one particular long URL, there won't be any duplicate URL. So the find one returns only the first result back to us, and there are no duplicate also, so no problem. So here we need to specify that particular field of the document, and we are saying that it is equal to URL. So we want to get that particular data wherever the long URL is, this particular one which we are getting back from the client side, the user side. If it exists, it gives back us data. If it exists, if it did not exist, it just gives the error, that some type of error it gives back. So we want to run this particular callback function. I have used this callback function. We can use the promises also, dot, then, and catch. So the promises would be very good because there could be a callback hell. That's why we can use the promises, which are way better than the callbacks, because the callbacks go and on, like they make our code very big, and even when we are reading, it won't be that much good. So we can use the promises. So I have used this callback function. You can use the promises also, no problem. So if we get back the data, we will run this try, and if we don't get back this data, we're just printing back the URL. So what is this? So if we get back the data, or if the URL entered from in the browser, if it is present in our database, we just console logging it is found, and if it is found, what we can do is, instead of storing it again, we can just retrieve the short ID and attach it with the host name and give back to the user. That is what we are doing over here. So we are retrieving that short ID. I'm saying short URL. Basically, that is the ID, short ID generated by the short ID. So short ID module just generates a very short random ID to when we tell short id dot generate method. We will understand that particular thing in the next route. We retrieve that short id, right? We have retrieved that short id. This particular thing we have retrieved that, and we have stored it inside that SURL. So what we are doing is we are creating this particular URL, right? Just homepage slash Banu. Now this is my name. You can enter your name also. Slash that short ID. Homepage Banu. Now I am using the template literals. Basically, inside this dollar underscore, you can pass the variable. If you don't use the template literal, also no problem. You could use the string concatenation. So basically, this turns out to be Let me write what it turns out to be. It would be slash, which is a home page, which is equivalent to this particular thing. So when we say slash, it is equivalent to http colon slash mono slash the short id, whatever short id, could be anything, could be anything. This is the URL which we are giving back to the user. If it is already present, right? If it is already present, if it is not present, what we have to do? We have to save it, right? That that is what we are doing inside this catch, right? We said that if it is present, if the data is present, this try will be executed. If it is not present, it will, whatever we write inside the catch, it will run. So inside the catch, what we are doing is console dot not found, saving it, right? We did not had that URL before stored in the database, so we have just console log for our information, and we are creating an object. This is the document, right? Using this short URL, this is our collection, right, which we have imported over here. This is our collection. So we are creating this new short URL and passing the information, right? Now this is the variable which we are referencing to this. Let small URL is equal to new, this is new short URL object, which is like your new document. This part is inside because we want to save it to our database only if the long URL is not present, else, right? This is a comment which I have wrote for my understanding, right? We have created this particular document using the short URL collection, because we have to follow the rules of the collection, right? Like some fields are required, all those will be followed by this. We can simply create a normal object, but using this only we need to create, because what we are creating is an object. If you see over here, it is just a JavaScript object, but we can't create a normal object. We have to create an object of short URL collection, because it has to follow some properties, right? It has to mandatorily have this long URL and the short URL also. That's why we are creating an object of short URL. The short URL is like your class, or the class is the collection, right? I think you are understanding. So this URL is the URL which we are getting from the browser, right? We are storing inside the long URL field, and the I have said, right, short id dot generate. The short id is something which we are install, right? Short id, and using this generate method, it generates the short id, and we are storing inside this particular field short URL, right? We have created the object. So this is our object, and using the dot save method, now this is also returns, or this will also return a promise. So what we can do is you can use the then and catch. Instead of then and catch, you can also use the callback function. That is what I have used. I have used this callback function. If it is able to save, if it is able to save the data, we are calling this callback function. Inside this callback function, what we have written is uh, try and catch. Okay, let's understand why we wrote this try and catch. Okay, if you are able to save. Okay, let me see what I have done. Okay. If we are able to save the data to the database successfully, we will run this try, right? We will run this try. Now what we have written in this try. So short URL dot find one. Why I have written this? Because look, we after saving the data, we want to give back the short URL, not the short ID, short URL back to the user. For that, what we need to use? this type of thing I have already done over here when it is present, right? We have rendered, right? Now this particular thing I did not explain. I will explain. I have skipped, I think. Till here I have explained. Here we are just returning this particular URL. This kind of URL we are returning back. This is when the URL is already present. Now this is the same kind of thing when the URL is not present, right? The short URL dot find one, same, exactly we are doing the same thing. We're just returning back the that that short URL. So short URL dot find one, and by specifying which particular field. So this is like a filter. If it's able to find this particular document, it will give back the error and data. Now this is the same find one, so it gives back the promise. We can use the then and catch. Else we can use like this callback function. So if it is able to successfully find, it will give back the data. Now if else, error. So we will use this try and catch. If it is able to return back after saving it to the database, we can find it, right? So we will get the data. So we will retrieve the short id into s URL and do exactly the same when we are doing it for the already present one. Like for already present one, for or the URL is the new URL. Finally, after saving it to our database, we have to return back, right? So we are doing the same thing over here. So all these are for written only for testing purposes, because it was not working properly. I wrote all these so that I will understand properly. We are creating the same particular URL, right? This is the same exact thing which we have done over here. After retrieving the short ID, we are creating a URL and res.render. Now this is something which I did not explain in both here and there. Now after getting back the what do you call, after getting back the short ID and after creating the URL, we have to give it back to the user, right? So using this res.render, we are rendering this particular view, short URL, this particular view to the user. That means they will get back the HTML in the form of a link. Whenever they click the link, they will be redirected back to the long URL. And this is the parameters. Now these particular things are the your parameters. Now this short URL is a name which you can use in your view. You can name it anything. And the short URL, this is what we have created over here. Usually they are named the same. So don't confuse. This is the one which we'll be using in our views or index.js or short.js. This is the one, this is the value. This is like your key and this is like a value. This key particular thing you'll use in the other your render, which is short URL. So inside the short URL, you will reference this particular value with this name, right? I think you understand it. Now these are cats are only for logging the error. Okay. Okay. There is basically we have created two routes, which is give back the index, and this particular route will be handling the post request from the server. That means whenever we click on the click button, and this particular route is handling the redirect. So we will understand this redirect only when we understand, when we see this index.js and short. So index.js consists of the input. Now this is the input which will taking the URL and a button. So I have used the Bootstrap for styling purposes. So nothing special over here. So whenever the user clicks on the button, they will be redirected to this particular route and everything inside will be executed, right? No, not this particular route. This is the route they will be redirected. So your post route to the home page. So like you see, if you click on the this is a tab submit. So this is inside the form. So whenever someone clicks on submit, they will be redirected to the home page. That means using the post method, right? Using the post method. This particular route will be handling all those routes, post routes. And after that, okay, we understood this particular thing. Let's see this short URL. Okay, here we are just displaying the that short URL, right? You could see there is an anchor tag where the href is the short URL which we are giving back to the, or if you see over here, this particular short URL is this one, right? This is the short URL. Using this short URL, since we have passed, these are the parameters, so we can use that one over here. So this is the syntax. This is the EJS syntax. Like you see, these are whenever, if you want to output something, you have to use this particular syntax. Angular brackets modulo equal to, whenever you want to output something, any expression, anything, you have to use any value. If you want to use the if else for loop, you have to use the different syntax, which is like this. I think inside this we need to write our JavaScript code. If you just want to evaluate your values, you have to use this particular syntax. So we have used that one. So here, whenever someone clicks on this particular text, right? Now this is a text. Uh, since I have deployed, I wrote this particular text. So whenever someone clicks on this text, they will be redirected to this particular URL. So after they are redirected to this particular URL, we have route code for handling that particular route also over here, right? There are three routes: one for showing the index, one for handling the post route. All the main code lies over there, and this is for handling the this particular route. So when they are redirected to this particular route, so the code, this is the code, right? If you see, your home page is everything slash Banu slash this short ID. Now this short ID is something which changes for all the URLs. It will be unique for the URL, right? So that's why we have used this code. This is your variable using by writing colon any name after that. This is like our variable. It can change, and we can use that inside our routes, right? This is something provided by the Express. This is that Express routing variables. By specifying the colon and whatever you write after that, it is like a variable. Whatever name you write, with that name you can get back the value for that. And this callback function, request response. So we are getting that short ID which is inside the request.params.code. Now this is a get request, so we don't need any body parser. Since it is a get request, it is stored inside this request.params.code. This code is something we wrote. You could name anything. You could have named it short ID also. You could no problem. I just named it code, right? So we are console logging that short ID, and these are just console logs for our information. And what we should do now is, since we got back that particular request from the short URL, we have given the short URL, right? When the user clicks on the short URL, this particular route is handling that. So we take that short ID. The short ID is something which is stored with the long URL inside the database. So we are collecting the short ID and we are finding in our database. This short URL is the collection dot find one. This is the filter. If you are able to find back, we will get the data. If not, we will get the error. If you are able to get back, this particular try section will be executed. So let's retrieve the long URL, which is this long URL field from this data. this data is the object which we will get back from the database. Dot long URL, this is the field. So we got the long URL, so we will just redirect back the user to this particular URL. That's it. We will be redirecting the user to this particular URL so that they will go back to the URL from which this particular short URL has generated. That's it, guys. And if there is any error, it will be console log, right? Now this is very big code, guys, and here we are exporting this particular thing because we are using over here. We are requiring over here, right? You say require routes URL. This particular file we are requiring over here and using it as a middleware over here. App.use main routes. This is something which will execute irrespective of which particular, like whenever there is a request from the browser, it will definitely run app.use. If you specify anything before that specific route, it will run for that specific. Now it will run for all the routes, and it will go inside here and check for which particular route is getting from the browser. That's it, guys. This code is very long. Go through this code. I have written the comments for all the functions that I used. If I have missed anything, you can type in the comment sections. I will just change whatever, or I will just reply it back wherever you don't understand. That's it, guys. Thank you.